Good morning and welcome to Inside Running on Tab Radio Racing and Sports.
Magnificio races to the lead, getting through Waterman's Bay. Magnificio narrowly from Waterman's Bay.
Our team will evaluate each race, interview leading contenders and update Tab Touch markets.
But now Delicacy, here she comes. Delicacy under the 59 went to Neverland and reeled up Dark Musket. It's Delicacy against the inside. Sublime, brilliant, greatness in the cup.
We trust you will enjoy this edition of Inside Running. Now, over to the team for their look at today's meeting.
A very good morning and welcome to Inside Running. You're with Digby, Beacham. It is 4 minutes after 8 o'clock and I hope everyone is well on this grand final morning. It's a massive day of Australian sport. But more importantly and more immediately, we've got the final Saturday meeting at Belmont, and joining me here in the studio at Gloucester Park is Scott Embry and Taylor Courtland. Scott, good morning to you.
Morning, boys. How are we?
Very well. TC, good morning.
Good morning to you, Digby. Scott, Matt, behind the buttons there. We've got a big act to follow. Moonee Valley last night was absolutely outstanding.
And a shout out to Grant and Alana Williams, Blake Shin and everyone connected with Al Safina. What a wonderful ride it was from Blake Shin to get the mare home, and an important black type win on the East Coast, and now she'll be aimed up at a Group 1 later in the spring. There's a lot to look forward to there, isn't there, Scott?
Prior race, Southport Tycoon, and weren't we treated to a little bit of riding privilege last night?
12 out of 10 from Mark Zara in that Group 1 Manikato, an interesting Manikato, and then Blake Shin does what Blake Shin does, TC.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's probably the way to ride. Elsafina too, just save her up for that last little sprint. She showed a beautiful turn of foot, but also going forward, growing empire. How massive was he?
Yeah, look, it would have been a big win for him, given he is a colt. He's the son of Zoostar, and that was a Group 1 $2 million sprint, but you'd think he's got a Group 1 in him, maybe multiple Group 1s in him. Initial impressions of this meeting? I didn't mind it, Scott.
It got thinner and thinner during the week, and then this morning...
Couple of scratchings.
A couple of races there decimated by scratching.
Is there not a little bit of meat on the bone, though, in a couple of races?
I think there's some good horse flesh going around too.
Yeah.
What about the clash in the last? I'm a big fan of Rope Them In, but Taropa's still undefeated,
yes,
continuing to get the job done. She has to be very well respected in that race. Even the 3-year-old race, there's a couple of horses there that haven't won a race yet, like a Jackpot Bingo or a Pearl King, that are going to make nice horses in time.
I agree with that. TC, your thoughts early doors on this meeting before we go through the changes?
Back all those thoughts up, and I think we'll learn a lot going forward with the Blackheart Bart Stakes. There's a few horses there that probably want to find out what path they're going on. Do they try and tackle the really A-grade Group 1 stuff, or are they trying to pick off some listed races around the fringes? So looking forward to that. And also, just before we start, a big shout out to the team out there at Belmont. We've had a pretty long, wet and cold winter, and for them to get through without losing a meeting, Brock's team, a massive congratulations to you.
Well said, well said. We'll rip through these changes before we look at race 1 after some adverts from our all-important sponsors. Race 1 is the Tab Touch West Speed Platinum Handicap over the 1,200 metres at 19 minutes after midday. You can remove number 8, that being Play Ball. Race 2 for the 3-year-olds over the 1,300 metres is the Ascot Opening Day 12th of October plate at 12.54. 3, Snippy Sean is a scratching, and we'll head to Bunbury tomorrow. Race 3 over the 1,000 metres at 1:31. The Reliable Asset Maintenance Handicap will go without Pin Deep, who was successful at Northam during the week. Race 4, the Perth Racing Now hiring casual staff handicap over the 1,600 at 2:11 is clear of scratchings. As Scott mentioned, race 5, it is one of these races which has been hit hard by scratchings. It is the All WA races live and free on 7+ handicap over the mile at 10 minutes to 3 o'clock. You can remove numbers 2, Miss Sky High, 5, Chantel, 7, Arcadia Night. That is now a pay 1-2. Race 6, the 2024 Pinnacles Carnival Noms Close 14th October handicap over the 2,200 metres at 3:29 will go without 3, Super Romany. 3, Super Romany is a scratching from race 6. Race 7, the Mrs. Mac handicap at 1,400 metres, 5 minutes after 4 o'clock is clear of scratchings. The feature, the Blackheart Bart listed stakes over the 1,200 metres at 4:43 is clear of scratchings. And the final event, the final Saturday race at Belmont this season, the Drummond Golf Handicap over the 1,200 metres at 5:20 is clear of scratchings. We'll get some all-important sponsor messages, Matt, and then we'll come back and look at race 1.
Well, you work to earn a living, but on weekends weekends comes the time you can do whatever turns you on. Get out and clear your mind. Me, I like football. There's a lot of things around. When you line them up together, the footy wins hands down. Up there, Casale. In there and fight. Out there and at 'em. Show 'em your might. Up there, Casale. Don't let 'em in. Fly like an angel. You're out there to win.
Welcome back to Inside Running. It is grand final day, but it is also race day out at Belmont. It is 10 minutes after 8 o'clock. You're with Digby, Beacham, Scott Embry and Taylor Courtland looking at this 9-event card at Winter Headquarters. And Matt Young, the first, is the Tab Touch West Speed Platinum Handicap over the 1,200 metres. We are on a soft 5 surface.
Outspoken Lad number 1, $23. Number 2, Bondi Plunge at $2.20. 3, Keep Attacking, $2.75. 4, Patron of Kings at $7.50. 5, Sunbronzed at $7. 6, Hear Me Sing, $34. And 7, Mere Gusto at $16.
OK, Scotty Embry, take us away.
Well, you get to see the return of the Keep Attacking v Bondi Plunge head-to-head, as it was last start. The market had it $2.15 Bondi Plunge, $3.50 Keep Attacking. They ran 1-2. There was a half a length between them. But again, for poor Keep Attacking, gee, he can find some bad luck in his races.
He's had no good fortune in his past 2, but you could say he's been desperately unlucky for the bulk of this campaign.
Career. It dates back to his Todd Harvey days. He couldn't find luck back then either.
Can I ask you here who the Breeze horse is, please, gentlemen?
I didn't think there was one.
That's interesting, is it not?
Especially
I agree with you.
If it ends up being Outspoken Duke...
Outspoken Lad,
Outspoken Lad, it's probably even better for Sunbronzed.
That's who I thought it would be.
Did they figure out last start how to ride that horse?
I think so, and Joey likes to ride that way. We spoke to him yesterday morning, TC, in the Hour of Power. He indicated that he thought Sunbronze was perhaps his best ride on the day, and he would be adopting similar tactics.
That was a Class 1. He got it pretty easily, and he sprinted from about the 500, 400 metres and made it a sprint home and looked really good. I thought the key also to that race was up to the 1,400 metres, but offsetting that is how much of a map luxury he's going to get here. There's no pressure. He's going to be able to control. He's going to be able to up the tempo when he wants to, Joey, and he's going to make it a sprint home, which, under the 59 kilos of Bondi Plunge, who jumps up in weight, he's going to make it very tough to be run down.
I just asked you, gentlemen, the question re the Breeze horse, because you thought that obviously Sunbronze looks your leader here. I agree with Outspoken Lad likely to land outside him. Does Keep Attacking then get that 1-1 spot as opposed to going back to the rail, Scott, and box seating here, and therefore Bondi plunges off on the back, of Keep Attacking? Is that how you're looking at it?
Yes.
Probably.
So is it then advantage Keep Attacking?
Yes.
Okay. What did you think?
Is Sunbronzed out of the equation?
Not at all. No, not at all. Leads, absolutely.
I'm very wary of the leader.
Okay.
And especially in a scenario where potentially Chris Parn and William Pike are worried about each other and who's going to get the right run, when do they take off. In so many times in those situations, you forget about the leader altogether. And in a race where after the scratching it's down to 7, Hear Me Sing hasn't raced in 600 days, who's probably going to need it and goes back anyway, you'd think, from the awkward draw. Outspoken Lad hasn't raced in 400 days, so he's got 60 even after the claim. He's going to need the hit out. I thought it was a great little chance for Sunbronze to run a very cheeky race out in front.
So Sunbronzed on top for you?
I'm going to spec on him.
Okay.
Just to get things cheap out in front and make them chase him down. I'd love to see Joey as a party almost go for home at the top of the corner and see just how good the chasing brigade are, because he's also got 1.5 kilos on them. So I'll go 5 Sunbronzed as a point of difference, 2 Bondi Plunge, 3 Keep Attacking, the obvious pair, and 4 Patron of Kings. Not convinced that Barrier 1 suits him, but his runs have been better than what they look. 5, 2, 3, 4.
Taylor Courtland.
Number 3, Keep Attacking on top for me. I think can turn the tables on Bondi Plunge with that weight swing. The form around Elite 1, obviously good. Silver Eye was in really good form. Sentimental Bell. That reads up really well to beat 2 Bondi Plunge. Take on board everything you've said there, Scott, with number 5, Sunbronze, the horse with ability. But this chasing pack is a little bit better than what he encountered last start at number 4, Patron and Kings. 3, 2, 5, 4.
Popular set of numbers. Scotty is 5, 2, 3, 4. TC 3-2-5-4. I'm seeing it exactly the same as Taylor in, I'm thinking, keep attacking. Gets the run here today with no bad luck. There'll be no excuses. So hopefully he gets the rub of the green today. So 3-2-5-4 for I. Good little race to start proceedings with, Matt.
And race number 2, so 5-2-3-4 Scotty, 3-2-5-4 TC, and Diggs in race number 1. Race number 2 at 12.54, the Ascot opening day, 12th of October plate, 1,300 metres, take out the 3. And we've got one Mean Machine. 3.10.2 is True Apostle at 7.50. 4 Blue Rocket at $2.85 at Jackpot Bingo. 6.50 6 Alpha Mater at 21. The 7 is Pearl King at 12. 8 Across Generations at 11. Number 9 0081. 10 is St. Lee Cality at 21, and 11 is at the $81 quote here. Scratching of the 3 repeating Digs.
Yes, exactly right. Snippy Sean will head to Bunbury tomorrow for Dan Morton. I thought this was a good race, Taylor. A very good race.
Very good race. Pearl King, you've got there in the market at $12. Had a flashing light, albeit in maiden grade last start. Across Generations had the circle highlighter beacon around him last start as well, stepping up to 1,300 metres. Suits $11 in the market. I thought True Apostle from that draw gets a lot better chance here in this race at $7.50 as opposed to last start when drawing wide, being snagged back behind Perfect Chant, not really being given any possible chance in that race when the pattern of the day was really fence strong.
Yep.
And True Apostle was out in the middle of the track. His runner-up performance, in Class 1 grade before that was very good. So 280 Blue Rocket and 310 Mean Machine. I thought there was a lot more angles than what the market suggests.
What did you think, Scott?
I thought it was a tricky race in a sense, but I came back to the fact that the more I looked at it, the more I convinced myself that from that draw, Blue Rocket's going to get every mortal chance because Willie Pike can come out nice and positive, have her close handy to the speed. It's certainly not a brilliant speed or a strong speed. At that, if Kuna Pipi happened to lead, all of a sudden she's a soft leader, and so Willie Pike can pounce at the right time with Blue Rocket. I do have it in the back of my mind that her only victory is over 1,000, so 1,300 is potentially as far as she wants, but they were very keen at the end of last prep to take her through to the sires.
Question without notice. Dan and Ben Pearce, these 2 fillies I'm going to ask you about, Sinful Living and Blue Rocket, they've pretty much been exposed for a little while and there seems to be a parallel with them. Which one is better?
Sinful Living at the moment after last week.
I think Blue Rocket has more scope for the rest of her career.
Yep.
I think Sinful Living is potentially just going to be a 1,000-metre horse.
Yeah, okay.
Mind you, there's so many people that are afraid of pigeonholing horses. If you've got a fast filly like Sinful Living that races brilliantly over 1,000, just go through the program and highlight the 1,000-metre races.
Yeah, it's not rocket science, is
There's
it?
a lot of them.
Yeah, exactly right. Mean Machine last week, thoughts?
Thought was good.
Yep.
In a graduation 60 behind Elite One, they clapped the speed on, was just caught by a horse who had his back in the run. What do they do from the gate? Take their medicine and go back?
No, I thought the opposite. I thought this race, if you've got Kuna Pipi, who's probably your leader at hundreds, and really not an obvious breeze horse, especially if they're happy to take a sit with Blue Rocket, which seems to be the way they've ridden her for her last 5 or 6 runs. It all comes down to how he jumps because he can be scratchy out of the machine. We saw that the day that Brad Parnham rode him at $1.50 in that maid and he missed away from barrier 2. He wasn't brilliantly away by any stretch last week. So I didn't know exactly where to map him, but I thought the opportunity was there to ride him forward if they wanted.
TC, give us your 4 here, please.
I've gone with number 2, True Apostle on top. As I mentioned, no real chance in that race last start behind Perfect Chant. It was controlled by the first 3 around the corner. He was near on last in settling. I think that gate presents the opportunity, and up to the 1,300 metres he might settle closer, and he's a good each-way bet. Same said for number 8, Across Generations. Just couldn't get that last start effort out of my head. His last 100 metres was his best of that 1,200. Now he steps up to 1,300. Obviously, he's going to be settling near last, so he's going to need a few favours, but the run last start was too good to ignore. Number 5, Jackpot Bingo, going really well, and number 4, Blue Rocket, 2854.
2854, Scott.
I thought Blue Rocket just got the map to have this race at her mercy. From 1, Mean Machine, just couldn't convince myself if he went forward or back. 5, Jackpot Bingo was just as good as Mean Machine in that Arcadia Park run first up. And 8, Across Generations was probably the black booker out of that entire meeting first up behind Perfect Chant. 4, 1, 5 and 8.
Okay, same fourth as you, Scott. I have gone different order. I'm actually with Jackpot Bingo. I think both runs this time in have been good, and I love the fact that he draws a gate today to settle a little bit closer. So if the speed is moderate, I think Jackpot Bingo, with that turn of foot that he possesses, can get over the top of them. 8 Across Generations. Love that first up run over the 12. Again, maps rearward, but you'd think with the extra 100 metres he's going to play a part. 4 Blue Rocket, the map horse, and 1 Mean Machine. No knock on this fellow. Continues to race well. 5, 8, 4 and 1.
5, 8, 4, 1 for Digby, with Scott going 4, 1, 5 and 8. Taylor with 2, 8, 5, 4 in race number 2. Third at 131. Reliable Asset Maintenance Handicap, 1,000 metres, 2 out, number 1, Magna Lee at 14, 3 Snippy Witch at 7.50, 4 Final Authority at 13, 5 is Famo at $11, 6 Golden Fighter 16, 7 Are You Righto at $5.50, 8 Hang Glider 4.60, and number 9 Miss Flirtatious at 2.60.
Okay, how beneficial is the scratching of Pin Deep for the first up horse here, Hang Glider, Scott?
Or yes, I'm seeing where you're coming from. So I probably approach it as the big beneficiary being Miss Flirtatious.
Yes.
And so then
Naturally.
Move on to your question, probably not for Hang Glider. I would have preferred Pin Deep to be absolutely in this race. I would have preferred Pin Deep and Miss Flirtatious to pour it on with horses like a Golden Fighter and Magna Lee jostling for spots, and then Hang Glider getting the last crack at them. It's probably not quite as blistering, that early tempo now.
Do you think Hang Glider is fresh, capable of settling in a prominent position, TC, or are you thinking Hang Glider maybe midfield or just off?
Well, I thought midfield, you've got Miss Flirtatious, who'll show speed. Magna Lee only knows one way. Golden Fighter and Final Authority, who are drawn inside. Hang Glider can hold up a spot. So I thought probably third pair, but off the fence, which gives Sean McGrady plenty of options to sort of make his run when he needs to. But I'm sort of with Scott. Miss Flirtatious, Belmont 1,000 metres, we keep saying it week after week. If you can settle in the first 3 or 4, it's a massive advantage at the moment.
She trialled like a bomb too, didn't she? It was a really impressive trial.
Very, very good.
Fast.
Form last preparation was really good. I think that form behind Twain's Angel's going to hold up. 2 Darty we've seen in better races. The 3-year-old open race, I mean, she ran 6, but she was beaten less than 2 lengths by King's Honour, who's shown plenty of ability, and the trial suggests she's coming back even better.
Okay, let's go through your first 4, please.
Number 9 on top for me, Miss Flirtatious to beat. 8, Hang Glider, who's absolutely bomb-proof first up. 1, Magna Lee, and 4, Final Authority. 9, 8, 1, 4.
Scotty Embry.
I'm going to stick with Hang Glider. I thought he was a really good trial. He's always a horse that's shown enough ability, and you tend to get the best out of him fresh. He's won 2 races in his life. They've both been first up. So I'm hoping here today that he can sit back and zap them. 9, Miss Flirtatious. If I'd come into this race Wednesday night and you knew that Pin Deep wasn't going to run, you probably would have sided up with her, because now she's thrown the lead, I would think. 7, Are You Righto, and 6, Golden Fighter, back from racing on the dirt. All his grass form at Belmont and Ascot last season I thought was good enough to measure up in this. 8, 9, 7, 6.
8976 for Scott, 9814 for TC. I'm also with Hang Glider. Love that trial. No winkers on that occasion down there at Lark Hill. Ran 56 and 9 on a soft 5 surface. It was a good gallop, and he was nice and keen and strong through the line. So fresh today, as he is often, that is when you get his best. So the best of Hang Glider, I think, is good enough to win this race. From 9, Miss Flirtatious. Worried about her jumping, running and kicking around the corner. 4, Final Authority. Comes out of the graduation race and was solid enough behind Real Deluxe, and Real Deluxe on that occasion was jumping and running. And 3, Snippy Witch, needs to find his best form. Probably a little bit of a crossroads run for him today. 8, 9, 4 and 3, Matt.
8, 9, 4, 3 for Digby, 9, 8, 1 and 4 for Taylor, and Scotty 8, 9, 7 and 6 after the running of race number 3. We are going to take a break here on Inside Running. On the other side, we'll come through with races 4 through 6, and it is at 25 past the hour here on Inside Running.
Welcome back to Inside Running. It's approaching 8:30 on this Saturday morning. Now, we've just had an inquiry on the Retrovision text line. How many bumps will Tom Papley hand out today, Taylor Courtland?
If someone wipes him out early in the game, do they automatically get the Norm Smith?
Will he be nice and amped up, old little Tommy Papley? Doesn't he love it? Anyway, race 4 is the Perth Racing now hiring casual staff handicap over the mile, Matt, and it comes our way at 209.
And Pompey is a $5 chance, number 1. Number 2, Captain Pluto, 210. 3, Eorways at 12. Number 4, Classic Rogue at 750. 5, Corn Cob, 16. 6, Fine Touch, 950. 7, Odanaka at $7. And 8, Probity at $23.
Okay, interesting little race, Scott. I don't want to be nasty, but there's a few nonnies in here.
Well, it's too late. You've said it now.
Oh, yeah, well, that's right. It's too late. You're
You
right.
said it respectfully.
So when you throw something like that out, are you Team Odanaka or Captain Pluto? Because they're the recent winners that are in the market.
I'm actually thinking maybe, just maybe, Captain Pluto breaks through today. But I tell you what, if Captain Pluto doesn't win today, he goes into the nonnies category. To be fair, he's had some good looks at it, has he not, Taylor?
Yes, he has. But that first up win was absolutely dynamic when he found a race with some good tempo. Subsequently, he's found himself in races where there haven't been much tempo whatsoever. Now, he finds that set up again today, so that doesn't help him. So I think he's just a horse that loves when they run along at a good tempo. We can show that turn of foot. It helps him settle. We know his racing manners aren't absolutely the best, so he needs a little bit of tempo in his races.
So where does the speed come from today, Scott? Taylor, thoughts?
Corn Cob probably leads.
I would think so.
Fine Touch sits outside Corn Cob, and from there they can control it.
So Captain Pluto lands in that 1-1 position. He gets every possible today from the map perspective, does he not, Scott?
Well, I think they rode him upside down, but deliberately last start, because that was a day where they were struggling to make ground, and that was the last race of the day. So they knew that the dice were thrown. They were in a race with no real tempo, and they didn't set any speed records. As much as West River Miracle folded at the top of the home corner, I think that was just a shocker that he put in. Sectionally, they didn't go very quick. And Buckets Ridge, who was probably the third winning chance in that race, got the lovely track into it behind Captain Pluto and simply zapped him. I didn't think he gave it away once he was collared. It's two schools of thought. You look at him here and you judge him off this race and whether or not you want to take 205, 210, 215. Because if you've been aboard the last 3 where he's got rolled, you've got some serious emotional scars.
Tip no bet?
Tip no bet, but there is a price that would get me.
Which is?
About 230.
Will you see that price?
Don't think so.
Okay. Give us your 4, please.
I don't think you'll get that price because if you look at the 7 rivals, I just struggle to see where the money's really going to come from.
Yep.
So 2 for me, Captain Pluto. 1, Pompey. Set a task here. Second up to a mile, 62.5. Classy horse. Soft draw, but it's going to take an effort. 3, Eorways. He's running the Farnley, beaten under a length Saloon Bar. He's running the Tab Touch last week, beaten a length and a quarter Rockanori, and against the pattern of that race.
Is he not in the right grade today? I know he doesn't win out of turn, but he's actually in the right race,
He's
finally.
going super.
Yep.
But he's never won past 13.
No, but his form at this trip end 14 of late has been good enough. He's just been racing outside the handicap.
He's just one of those horses, and I'm sure the frustrating part for poor Raquel Reid is if you drop him back into those no Metro win last year's where he gets the 60, he runs the same race as he does in an 84 plus outside the handicap. He's just a trier. No matter what grade you put him in, he'll run well. 2, 1, 3 and 7, Odanaka. He was sensational first up. 2, 1, 3, 7.
TC.
I didn't want to take anything near 210 for Captain Pluto, so I went searching for a little bit of value. Ended up with the 7 Odanaka on top. Second up has a really good record yet to miss the top 3 from 3 goes. 13 up to 1,600 metres I don't have a problem with because I think you'll still have a lot of sprint left in those legs over the 1,600 metres, and similar to last start with a slow run 1,600 metre race might just get the right toe into the race. I've put number 3 Eorways in for second. 2, Captain Pluto, and number 4, Classic Rogue, going really well. Gets down to 54 kilos, gets a beautiful run, just doesn't win as well. 7-3-2-4.
Yeah, tip no bet for me here, Matt. 2, Captain Pluto on top from 3, Always. No denying he's going particularly well. It just hasn't won for a long time. 7, Odanaka. I think Sean McGrady's given the punters a good lead riding at 54 kilos. And 4, Classic Rogue, who continues to race well. But much like Always and a few others in this race, it's been a while since he's saluted. 2, 3, 7 and 4.
2, 3, 7, 4 for Digby. 2, 1, 3, 7 for Scotty. And 7, 3, 2, 4 for TC ahead of race number 4. On to race number 5 at 250. All WA races live and free on 7 Plus handicap, 1,600 metres, pay 1-2, scratchings of 2, 5 and 7. Number 1 is Cobb & Co. is at $6. Number 3, Regal City at $12. Number 4, Royal Toronado, $2.65. 6, Western Power, $3.60. 8, Border Force is at $3.40. And number 9, Sketter at $20.
Scratching, Scott. What do you think?
Well, I'm sure for a lot of people, you take the race, you scrunch it up, throw it out and move on. Because favourite, Arcadia Knight, out. Second favourite, Miss Sky High, out. Third favourite, Chantel, out. For so many people, that would have been 3 of their 4 or their main considerations. You also take out the speed of the race with no Chantel. So I think the entire thing's been turned upside down.
What do we do here from a speed? Is it likely that Regal City goes to the top?
Regal City goes to the top.
Yep.
I don't have any issues there. Can potentially run a cheeky race too.
Yes, I agree with that.
Back onto the grass.
Yep.
Just allowing him to roll at stages.
Border Force going well enough to win this race, TC?
Yes, absolutely. Gets a beautiful run. Probably gets the toe ball of Regal City now. They don't go too hard. Up to the 1,600 metres. Looked pretty good last start. He was still finding on the line when he had a really torrid run in that. Run 2 back, I thought, was really good too.
Yeah, I was just going to say, sorry, that the last 2 runs from Border Force have been terrific. It would signal to me that he's not far away.
Oh, I think Royal Toronado's going really, really well, though. I thought I like Odanaka in the previous race, so I'll sort of have to follow up with Royal Toronado. I was going to put him on top with all these other runners in the race, and you're getting a nice each-way price now for a horse that's probably going to be last, albeit now in a small field probably doesn't look as bad. You're going to need to take sub $3, but I think the horse is flying, made a beautiful run on the wrong part of the track last start, and 2 starts ago over the 1,400 metres showed a really good turn of foot.
For Border Force, is this not, even though it's a small field, a tougher race than recent assignments?
Yes, I'd agree with that, absolutely.
I'm looking at the agreed, good run over the 14, Rock Legacy, Sports Talk, Trespassing, not getting much out of that.
No.
And last week, basically, Take a Great Fortune away.
Yep.
He was the eye-catching performance of the meeting, and the rest of them were sort of, because he broke them open so far from home, they were all one batting.
Yeah, I agree with that. I take that on board, what you've mentioned. I think he finishes considerably closer in that Roche Legacy race had he not been part of that interference. And the effort last week, to my eye, looked like a horse who was building nicely, and I think he can settle closer. I actually had him on top before the scratching, so the price reboard of horse is gone. I thought he was... I think, for mine, I think that the Casey Yard's going along okay. They probably haven't had the rub of the green of late. And if Jackpot Bingo can win, maybe that just gives the punters a little bit more confidence, maybe here with Border Force. I thought he was a good, well, initially an each-way play, but that's gone now because of the scratchings. But I take TC's point Royal Toronado, who you would think now is better suited at this distance than dropping back to the 1,300 like he did last start.
Yeah, absolutely. And we keep talking about these 3-year-olds dropping out of that Derby campaign. It was a good crop of 3-year-olds, and he was a part of that. Number 4 on top for me to beat 6. Western Empire, I thought, made a nice run last start. I think that in good order form's going to hold up. 8 Border Force and 1 Cobb & Co. 4, 6, 8, 1.
Scotty Embry.
4, 6, 8, 3, very similar to TC, but I'm going to go with Royal Toronado as well. I think Clint can basically drop him out to the rear of the field, and after the scratchings, there is only 6 of them, so he can just track up in behind and start winding up from a fairway out. I think you can have the confidence to put him into the race because he will get all the ground. 6, Western Power. The run behind Watch Me Rock was so good because he pulled his head off for so long at the back of the field. He never settled and still made a run at them. And last start in the In Good Order and Simply race, I thought that he was, again, very impressive. So I went 4 from 6, 8 Border Force, 3 Regal City.
So 4, 6, 8, 3 for Scott, 4, 6, 8, 1 for TC. I'm 8, 4, 1 and 6. Not much more to add in race number 5, Matt.
Okay, 8, 4, 1 and 6 for Digby, 4, 6, 8, 1 TC, 4, 6, 8, 3 Scotty in race number 5. On to race number 6, the 2024 Pinnacles Carnival. Noms Close, 14th of October. Handicap, 2,200 metres. Take out the 3. 1 Filthy Habits at $4.40. Number 2, I Love Your Smile at $3.90. 4 Simply, $2.15. 5 Candlelight Supper at $14. 6 Kerman Rock, $15. 7 Mr. Popcorn, $71. 8 Set the Scene, $31. Number 9 Burnbrae at $14.10. Red Dwarf at $23.
Okay, we get to see Simply on the quick spin here from a mile to 2,200 metres. And speaking to Brad McManus on the Sports Daily on Thursday morning, he indicated that the Eastern States punters were quite keen Simply here when prices went up, Scott.
I'm resided in Perth, Western Australia, but I'm pretty keen on his chances too, if that's worth anything.
No, it's not. Up from the 1,600 metres looks absolutely ideal for him now, doesn't it?
He looked like a horse last week over the mile. He got into a little bit of a bumping duel, and he can be his own worst enemy on occasions, this horse, but he just looked like a horse who was screaming for 10 furlongs and beyond, didn't he?
Bingo.
Last week.
Stayer first up, wins at 1,400.
Yep.
Second up, still excellent. Matched Motors, in fact, was probably hitting the line better than In Good Order over the last 75. And then third up, he stayed at a mile, and he just really hit a flat spot. Even when he was copying those bumps, I take that. But I also think that he just, for a couple of strides there, was plain.
No doubt. No doubt, but once he then sort of wound up, he was good to the line. Just that turn of foot of In Good Order was electric, wasn't it? It was breathtaking, the way that he quickened up. What about I Love Your Smile on the back-to-back backups, TC? It was a good effort the last start.
If anyone can do it too, Brandon Fiore's found the trick to it. Filthy Habits does it week in, week out. Going really, really well. I Love Your Smile. Filthy Habits is going really well as well. Candlelight Supper I didn't think was hopeless from gate 1. Should get a soft run. That form behind Iowa and Stop Dreaming. We'll talk about that all week, heading into a Kalgoorlie Cup behind Starry Heights. But sided with the 4 Simply on top. I think he's a horse with a little bit more upside than some of these other stayers. Up to the 2,200 metres means William Pike probably isn't dictated to when he needs to make that sprint. He can find some clear galloping room, let the horse balance, and if he shows that turn of foot over the 2,200 metres that he has all preparation, he'll be awfully hard to beat. 5, I'll put in Candlelight Supper just as a little bit of value, but still 1, Filthy Habits, third, 2, I Love Your Smile are winning chances as well, but number 4, Simply on top for me.
Okay, 4, 5, 1, 2 are your numbers?
Correct.
Okay, Scott Embry, your thoughts?
I thought Simply was one of the better bets on today's program. 7 days, up in distance, genuine speed between Kerman Rock and Filthy Habits. They'll roll along at stages here, and Willie Pike can bring him over the top of them. 4, Simply. 2, I Love Your Smile, who probably maps to get a very similar run to Simply, and then they can make their runs together late in the piece. 1, Filthy Habits. 5, Candlelight Supper. 4, 2, 1, 5, but pretty keen on Simply.
Okay, I'm actually pretty keen on I Love Your Smile here. I like the fact that she was closing behind Hemlock Stone and they were able to gap the third horse. Hemlock Stone looked a good bet last week, and I'm thinking I Love Your Smile is a good bet today. As TC quite rightly mentioned, Brandon has got a knack of getting these horses to perform at a good standard from week to week, and I'm thinking this Daughter of Sebring from a good gate can settle a little closer today, and they should roll along. So I'm thinking that's going to work in her favour. So 2 on top from 4 Simply. Clearly he's the one that they need to beat. 1, Filthy Habits. And I didn't mind the effort of Red Dwarf, who comes out of that same race as I Love Your Smile last week. 2, 4, 1 and 10 in race 6, Matt.
4, 1 and 10 for Digby. 4, 5, 1, 2 TC. 4, 2, 1, 5 for Scotty in race number 6. We'll take a break here and bring you the last 3 races with the final meeting of the season here at Belmont today. Races 7 through 9 the other side.
All for one and one for all. We will answer to
Welcome back to Inside Running. It's 8:45. You're with Digby, Beacham, Scott Embry and Taylor Courtland looking at the final meeting of the season out there at Belmont. It's not too late to get your bets on, though, with Tab Touch for the AFL Grand Final, which gets underway at 12:30 this afternoon. Sydney currently the favourites, $1.75. Brisbane, $2.08. So the Sydney Swans hold favouritism slightly over the Lions. Now, race 7, Matt, is the Mrs. Max handicap over the 1,400 metres at 5 minutes after 4 o'clock.
Number 1, the Horseman at 23. Number 2 is Mama Tembu at 16. 3, Count the Sessions at 12. 4, Watch Me Rock at 235. 5, Miss Strakova, 950. Multiverse 21 without Reg at 14. Number 8, Harbin 16. Number 9, Trio 460. 10, Bellini Miss at 12. The 11 Star Chien at 21 and 12 is Katona at 51.
Okay, we spoke a couple of weeks ago, Scott, about when we had a good chat to Grant Williams, and his best of that Saturday was Watch Me Rock. Now, Watch Me Rock was unsuccessful, beaten ever so narrowly by Odinaka, but he wasn't far off, and Watch Me Rock has been well supported for this event.
I think it's an understatement. Geez, the market support for Watch Me Rock, especially in the first sort of half an hour of betting, was monumental. He's gone up 420 Thursday morning. He's now 235. So he's been extremely popular, Watch Me Rock, in what I actually thought was another tricky race, for the sense that, again, where are all these pace horses at the moment? There's no leader here over the 1,400, to the point where I thought potentially Willie Pike may have to take it up with Watch Me Rock. And I'm sure that's probably the last thing that they want.
Probably, but for his winning chances, that's probably the best thing they can do, isn't it? Because I thought the same thing as you, and doing the map, I thought there was every chance that maybe if he finds the fence first and lets a couple of horses from out wide across him, he finds a really, really sticky position.
Could the Horseman, Luke Campbell, with the benefit of the run under his belt from that gate, roll forward?
Probably. But again, how interested are they in really riding him for speed?
But in a race which is on paper devoid of a great deal of tempo, he could potentially get there quite comfortably rather than be tracking, wide end or back in a race where it's going to be hard to sprint over the top of them.
Another question mark horse was Harbin for mine. Maybe do they chance their arm from the wide also in a race with no speed whatsoever? It's a really low confidence race for mine, just because I have no idea how it's going to be run.
Watch Me Rock. If he doesn't lead, he's going to be all over the speed, though, is he not? Yeah,
he is, absolutely. And if it's just, my concern is if it's a really slowly run race and we know what they pack up like at the 600 metres, he finds himself with nowhere really to go. There's horses gaining momentum out wide that might be his undoing. But form-wise, he deserves another win. He was really good last start, and that Odinaka form's littered throughout my tips all day. Okay, the Trio form line's pretty strong as well, Scott.
And he just continues to get better. I think that's what I like most about Trio, is that he's continually raising the bar. He was beaten 2 starts ago by Watch Me Rock, but he didn't get any luck that day. And if you watch that replay, it was a messy race where Watch Me Rock went forward and got the job done, sort of outgrinding them. It wasn't impressive, but it was tradesman-like, and it was a messy, messy map. That's the same race as this, which is why I've sided up with him. 4, Watch Me Rock. 9, Trio. I think the stablemates are the 2 horses on the rise. 10, Bellini Miss. Talking about market moves, punters were all over this mare last start at Northam. They jumped out of trees to back her. She got in a little bit of trouble at the top of the home straight, but Cassie Martin pushed her into the clear, and she won very powerfully. Don't think she beat much, goes without saying, but I think that she can work her way through these lower grades. And 5, Mr. Kova, who's always thereabouts. 4, 9, 10, 5.
I'll throw in a little bit point of difference. Watch Me Rock on top for me as well, number 4, for the reasons outlined. I'll throw in number 7 without Reg. I thought that last start effort in the widest part of the track was really good. Behind Desert Nymph, the start before, beaten 3 lengths. Doesn't read too bad now after what that mare's gone on and done. So I thought he represented a little bit of value in a tough race. Number 9, next best for me, Trio, and 5, Miss Strakova. 4, 7, 9, 5.
Yeah, I will make it a clean sweep. Thinking Grant and Alana Williams hold the whip hand here with their 2 runners. So 4 on top for me, Watch Me Rock. From 9, Trio. There's no denying he's going particularly well, as is Miss Strakova. Good to see her run very well last start, narrowly beaten by Trio. And 1, the Horseman. I just thought maybe, just maybe, they would roll forward, and if that's the case, this fellow could give a bit of cheek at a quote. 4, 9, 5 and 1 for Matt.
495 and 1 for Digby, and we have got 4795 for Taylor, 4910.5 for Scotty in race number 7. On to race 8, it is the Blackheart Bart Stakes of listed level, 1,200 metres, 1 Magnificent Andy at 10, number 2 Blazing Away 101, 3 Massimo 17, 4 Caramundi 31, 5 Fanta 750, 6 Aztec Ruler at 8, 7 Super Schmink at 18, number 8 is Mood Swings at 19, 9 Search and Rocks 320, 10 Frigid, 650, 11 is at Titan Blinders 61, $23 Captain Chaos, 26 Red at 53, and Laced Up Hills is at 850.
Hands up, gentlemen, if you thought this race came up a bit stronger than you envisaged it would, given the Hannons is on Wednesday in Kalgoorlie.
I'll say yes because we're on radio.
Agreed.
Yeah. It's a good addition, is it not?
Very. I think it's a wonderful race. And the set weights and penalties nature of the Blackheart Bart Stakes is always going to bring an extra added element of intrigue.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the starting point being that your favourite in Search and Rocks, she's going to be, and this is without even knowing what other races are on in the country, she will be the best placed and best weighted horse in the country today. Because she's a 106 rater at set weights and penalties with 55.5. She's dropping 1.5 kilos out of a weight for age win. It's an outstanding race for her.
So saying all that, you'd expect the money to come with all the professional punters around the country?
I suppose there's probably going to be maybe a slight, not concern, but wariness about her being 5 weeks between runs and back to the 1,200. And maybe at this stage of her career as a 6-year-old mare, does she still have the sharpness to sprint with them at 12? But in terms of the weight scale of this race, it's very good for her, and at the same time, it's very poor for Frigid.
I don't want to pull you up, Scott, but Broadsiding's a dual Group 1 winner, gets around with 56.5 and a Golden Rose today.
Yeah, who?
Yeah. He seems to be pretty well in at the weights. This race, though...
Sounded good, Scott.
It's a good race because you've got horses who like to ride the speed. You've got horses who are going to settle rearward. What do we do with a horse like Fanta? Now, this is a little bit stiffer than what we saw the other day, but you know where he's going to be, and he's got the gate to maximise his best assets.
Well, he was my next point in terms of both the market and the weights of this race. Fanta is $7.50, Frigid is $6.50. Fanta meets her 5 kilos better for beating her home the other day.
And is she...
She has to be unders.
I would have thought so. I think she was a false favourite the other day. In saying that, she's probably going to be better at 14 and 16, is she not? Would that be fair?
Yes.
Yep.
But she doesn't get that here today.
No, she does not. No, she does not. How did you assess it, TC?
I think every horse in this race will get their chance. As you said, there's plenty of speed engaged. Fanta likes to go forward. I think for the hopes of Search and Rocks, Massimo's a really key horse. If Search and Rocks is able to cross Massimo, she might be able to find herself in the 1-1 with Mood Swings. You'd think only knows one way, comes out and probably sits outside Fanta in the breeze. I went with Search and Rocks. I think she brings the best form, and I think Jim Taylor and the team have just really worked her out. Race her pretty fresh. She's going really, really well. Runner-up in a Group 3 Belmont sprint behind Western Empire. Reads really well. She was great over the 1,600 metres in the Hyperion, and then last up behind Valor Road was just a super tough effort on a heavy 9. No concerns. We should stay in that soft 5 range all day. You'd imagine it's not exactly drying weather here in Perth today. So I landed with 9, Search and Rocks. Didn't mind the run late in the finale of Magnificent Andy. It took a few watches just to try and work out, but it was certainly a race that was dominated on speed. He had 62. He had to go back, make a run wide. Fast run, 1,200 metres. He won the Joey, so that's no concerns whatsoever. Number 14, Laced Up Hills, next best for me. I think she sets up similar to Magnificent Andy, where she's going to find a midfield run, 3 wide with cover. She can unleash a dynamite turn of foot on her day, and I thought the most recent trial was really good. And number 6, Aztec Ruler. We'll need a little bit of luck from gate number 1, but went to another level last campaign. Hopefully he can do the same again. 9, 1, 14, 6.
14 for me, Laced Up Heels. So as much as I'm very much respectful of Search and Rocks, I went back and watched the run in the Joey. Laced Up Heels went around favourite in the Joey that day, split Magnificent Andy in Western Empire, meets Search and Rocks 1 kilo better from that run over the 12 in the Joey. I thought would have the zip to make a real contest of this late, not to mention the fact that She's also $859.
Yeah, she's an each way quote out of 10. How did you assess her trial?
8.
Yep.
I thought it was a nice, solid return to the trials from her. 14, Laced Up Heels. 9, Search and Rocks. But I could definitely entertain 3 ways. Each way, Laced Up Heels, Concession, Laced Up Heels, or Bet Save, Laced Up Heels, Search and Rocks. 5, Fanta, and 6, Aztec Ruler. I'm going to risk Frigid. 14, 9, 5 and 6.
Yeah, I'm with Laced Up Heels. I thought the trial was good. I think that form out of that trial will stack up, and she gets hopefully that 3 deep with cover line, and she has got a good turn of foot, and she's very well placed with a 54.5. So 14 on top for me from 1, Magnificent Andy. 9, Search and Rocks. No knock on her. Jim Taylor's done a wonderful job. And 5, Fanta, I thought could burn to the top here, and he was pretty good when losing to Man Crush, running second, and Man Crush is likely to go around. It's a pretty well-supported horse that you would think in Kalgoorlie. So I'm 14, 1, 9 and 5 and an excellent edition of the Black Heart Part Stakes, mate.
14, 1, 9 and 5 for Digby. 14, 9, 5 and 6 for Scotty. 9, 1, 14, 6 for TC in race number 8. We move on to the final event, race number 9. At 20 past 5, it is the Drummond Golf Handicap. 1,200 metres, 1 Rope Them In, 265, 2 Catalpa 41, 3 Super Session 13, 4 Russian Sniper at 14, 5 Planet Cash at 21, 6 Sentimental Bell 440, 7 Taropa at 378, Sunny Honey at $20, 9 Kripolenko 23, 10 Featherweight 41, 11 Honeydew 21 and 12 Miss Rock Joys at $51.
One word to describe Rope Them In's trial, please, gents.
Sexy.
Whoa. Okay.
Gee whiz.
So, Taylor, beat that.
No, don't want to. Excellent.
Excellent and sexy. Whoa. Well, okay, Mr. Sexy, go on, please. Scott,
I thought it was probably the best trial that I've seen in the last few months.
Yeah, I'd agree. Inner track, Belmont, hard to make ground. Boy, oh boy.
Bolting, balanced up,
Quick.
burst through.
Yeah.
And worth remembering too that the horse that he was bursting through outside of and hitting the line better than was Aztec Ruler.
Yes.
Who was no slouch. Aztec Ruler trialled in his blinkers. He goes to the Black Heart Bart. Rope Them In goes to a ratings race. I'm a massive fan of this horse.
Yeah. He went to a new level last campaign, did he not?
And I think he can do it again.
Yeah, he's got that feel about him, hasn't he?
Well, he finished last campaign winning 272 pluses. One of those included Ice Pick Nick, who went on and carried that form on, and Triple J was in the race as well, and that trial suggests that he has gone to another level. 60 kilos shouldn't bother him. He'll have enough turn of foot to... And I think he gets a beautiful run. He should settle in the first 4.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, there was a good chance he would.
Yeah, he'll be close enough, I think.
Yeah.
He's not going to be...
At worst, he'll be third pair.
Yeah, exactly. So he's midfield at worst, you would think, and if he possesses that turn of foot, which he showed at the trials, and we've referenced it on many occasions, Steve Wolf is able to get his horses to produce fresh. Scott, we know that. You know, and this horse, to be fair, all the way through his career, he's flashed above average ability. He's a stakes place performer as a 3-year-old. There's so much to like about him.
If you were to stick your neck out and identify a race or races for Rope Them In over the carnival, because I have no doubt he's a carnival horse, where is he? What could be his ceiling?
Oh, I think he'll be aimed up. And we had a good chat to Steve Wolf, but I'm on record. We've spoken about it, TC and I, on a trial. I think he's a Winterbottom style sprinting horse. I think he's a 12-14 horse. He's that just get back little bit sprinter. Now, he's going to have to elevate, no question. But each time he comes in, he elevates. And he's a playing guide. You would think he's now getting towards peak physically and mentally.
I'd like to see him get to 1,400 metres and then make a decision just on the fact that I think the railway sets up to be a much more winnable Group 1 than a Winterbottom Stakes. If he's giving overpass 6 lengths at the 600 metres, it's a mighty job to run him down.
I'd be surprised if he ended up in a railway. I really would. What do you think, Scott? Do you think he's a railway horse?
I think he's a railway horse. But again, we're talking about a horse that's never won at a mile. And we're talking about a horse that's an 84 rater. So you're basically, a lot of people probably sitting back chuckling to themselves. But if you think about recent railway winners, Bustler, 4-year-old, Tricks of the Trade, 4-year-old. He's got that right, get in on the minimum, have a real dip at it.
Could he go here, run well, and then run in a eurythmic?
But there's so many options for him. Asian Bow, even better. Handicap.
Yep.
Get in on the minimum.
Let's hope he goes there today and shows what he can do, because it will generate a great deal of discussion going forward, and that's what we want.
He could come out here today and get rolled,
Yes,
in which case it was a waste of time.
Yeah, even if he doesn't win today, I don't think that's, he can't measure up. I think there's enough upside with this horse off what we've seen. In saying that, no knock on Taropa, surely.
No, the only knock on Taropa is the gate and where she gets in running. She's going to need a little bit of luck, but her form, she's done absolutely nothing wrong, as 5 from 5 would suggest. She was a very good last start over the 1,200 metres when getting a little bit held up and then showing a beautiful turn of foot to get through the gap and beat Sentimental Bell. They look the 3 for mine, but number 1, rope them in on top. If I was doing a quaddie, I'd probably stand him out.
Ooh.
1 to beat 6, 7 and 2. Catalpa, I thought, massive odds for a really good run in a high-class race last start. 1, 6, 7, 2.
Okay, Scotty Embry.
1 for me, rope them in. 7 Taropa, 3 Super Session. He's been potentially on face value disappointing first up, second up, but he's also a horse that gathered a lot of ratings points winning that country series, Mount Barker Sprint, Fitzpatrick Plate and Batavia Sprint. So he's picked up 12 points there for beating some pretty moderate opposition. Back here today into a ratings race looks more suitable. And 5 Planet Cash I'll include there from the inside draw. Always had a bit of time for him. 1735.
Okay, 1735. I will make it a clean sweep. Rope them in. Love the trial. They just don't trial like that and not run well fresh. So hopefully that equates to a victory. 7 Taropa, the obvious danger for mine. 3 Super Session. I'll give him another chance in this company, given he has raced in a Jolly Beggar and a Nicopolis leading into today. And 8 Sunny Honey will map probably rearward, but boy, oh boy, he would have been awfully... Well, I think he could have nearly won that race when they did back Empress of India with a clean run late there for Cassie Martin and David Harrison Joseph as a party takes over today. 1, 7, 3 and 8 for myself in the last, Matt.
1, 7, 3, 8 for Digby at TC 1, 6, 7, 2, 1, 7, 3, 5 for Scotty. In the 9th and final race, we need some best bets.
That we do. Scotty Embry, your best, please.
Race 9, number 1, rope them in.
Rope them in as your best. Taylor.
Race 3, number 9, Miss Flirtatious.
Race 3, number 9, Miss Flirtatious. Okay, I am going to go to the staying event, if I can find it.
Race 6.
Race 6, and I'm going with I Love Your Smile. Race 6, number 2, I Love Your Smile as the best there today. Now, as we did last week and we did on Wednesday, your lay of the day, please, Scott.
Are we undefeated so far in lay of the days?
Yes.
So pressure goes on increasingly.
Needs to be 450 or less.
I'm going to go Border Force.
Border Force, okay. Border Force for Scott.
Just because it'll fire you up.
Oh. It's personal.
I'll be very relaxed today, Scott, don't worry.
Will you have some help relaxing? Beers.
Oh, right. I'm glad you specified that.
Beers.
Yes.
Race 2, number 4, Blue Rocket. I thought it was a pretty deep race. Plenty of chances.
Now you're trying to fire up Scott.
Yeah, make it personal. Why not?
Okay. I just, she fits into the category here, that being Sentimental Bell, currently 440. I didn't have her in my first 4, so Sentimental Bell today is my lay. Now, you play. How are we making $1 outside of your best bet today, Scott?
Tom Papley to kick the first.
Cop one on the chin would be preferable.
There's no love for little Thomas, is there?
Poor man's Hayden Bell.
Okay, your play, please, Scott.
I'll need your best to get rolled because I'll be race 6, number 4, Simply, into race 9, number 1, Rope Them In.
Okay, TC.
There might be a few multis rolling into Rope Them In later on in the day. 3, 9, Miss Flirtatious. 9, 1, Rope Them In.
Say that again.
3, 9, Miss Flirtatious.
Yes.
Into 9, 1, Rope Them In.
Okay, I like that. I'm going to have a place multi, that being race 2, Cross Generations, into Trio in race number 7. I think you're getting around that $5.50 mark for that. So that is my play of the day. Now,
Grand final winner and Norm Smith.
Hugh McCluggage and Brisbane Lions for me.
Brisbane Lions, Cam Rayner.
Who are you going for, Scott?
Sydney Swans, Chad Warner, trade request to the Perps.
Trade request to the Perths. Have you got enough money to accommodate Liam Baker, Shea Bolton?
Oh, you don't want Liam Baker. Handball him to West Coast.
Oh, good morning, Liam Baker and the Baker family, listening from Lake Grace. Scott Embry says your son's no good. Okay, gentlemen, now you're on TV today again. Talking Heads.
12 noon.
12 noon, 7 plus.
Correct. And
special guest. Are you interviewing anyone?
Steve Wolf.
Steve Wolf, terrific.
We'll get the inside word on Rope the Min and his trial, as well as his other very good chances throughout the day. Hang glider, Odinaka. Got a good team in the Wolfman.
What time will you be speaking to Stephen?
That is a very good question, Digby. If you wax lyrical with TC, I'll find out for you.
TC, do you know what time they're speaking to Stephen?
No, there'll be an all-important track report to kick off the coverage, though.
You'll be speaking to Brock Neeling?
I imagine.
12:37 Steve Wolf is in the run sheet for, so before race number 2.
Okay, so coverage starts at noon?
Correct.
So 5 minutes into the football.
Terrific. Hopefully, people can switch between the football and the racing. It's a big day. Great day of racing and a great day of football at the MCG. Good luck if your team is in the grand final, and good luck if you're having an investment with Tab Touch. Scott Embry, Taylor Courtland, Matt Young, thank you for your time this morning.